What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I hope everybody had a good new year. Don't forget, we're doing these QR codes from now on. So, like, subscribe, all that happy mumbo jumbo BS that they like me to tell you. Helps the algorithm gods get the word out, right? Over there, got all kind of people over there in Kick, just reading the chat over there. We got Fireman Ed, of course, Bullshates over there, guys over there, Mama T. Who else? Terry, of course. She's always the first in the house. Did I miss anybody? I'm looking. They'll pop up. If you guys aren't on any of the other platforms, most of the cool kids are hanging out at kick.com. So migrate over there before too long, because chances are we're gonna get banned from the communist social platforms that are YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. TikTok already kicked me off though. They let me do a live for like 3 minutes, and then boom, they dropped me. They said try back in 14 days. So it happens. They said I was giving them misinformation. So I don't know. Guys, thank you for the subscriptions this year. K-Love, Mama T, and Koala. With the money we bring in from the subscriptions, we've got our fiber optic internet up and running, and it is blazing fast. So we try to reinvest everything back into the podcast. So we certainly appreciate that. Russ is hitting buttons back there. Russ is always in the background. We'll bring him up front here in a little bit. But guys, I'm not the kind of guy that says, "Listen, I told you so. I warned you this was going to happen." But like we've been telling you leading up to the new year, the beginning of the year was going to be interesting. And sure enough, a lot of us were getting lax because Trump won the election. We're getting lax. We're starting to let our hair down a little bit, and our preparedness was starting to wane off a little bit. And guess what happened? Exactly what we told you was going to happen. Tonight we're going to talk about the 2 terrorist attacks that occurred, and I want your thoughts. Are they connected? Okay. What's going to come next? But before we dive into all that, let's pay some real quick bills.
Dead. Holster your firearms. Outstanding. Shoot. Change the magazine. Change the magazine. Let's go. Change the magazine. Much better. Shoot. Figure out, check the gun. Scanning for threat, hold your firearm. Lock the slides back. Pick up your magazine. Let's do it again.
Russ is in the house. My brother from another mother.
Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. It was great seeing you this weekend, man.
Yeah, tell us about this weekend. What's new in Russ's world? A little bit of warmer climate here, or you brought the cold with you? What happened?
I must have brought the cold with me, man, because I think Florida is getting ready to be like Wisconsin here for the next week. Teresa and I hopped in. We said to heck with South Carolina for the next 2 months, and we're headed down. We're here. We're at Casa de Angry on the back end of their property, and we'll be here for this month. And next month, we're headed over to your place, hang out. Got a couple of events going on over there. We got the Ruck March. We got the Return to Eden. And we'll go home at some point.
Well, that's the nice thing about being retired. You can make your own schedule and all that stuff. Tell me about your New Year's Eve, brother. What'd you have going on?
Well, man, because you probably don't remember. We had what 25 or 30 people over here at Angry American and Angry Mel's house. Had a great time. We had some brisket. We had some ribs. A lot of food. The crab stuffed shrimp. What else? We have the coconut shrimp, the chocolate covered strawberries, which got you, and we had a great time. Great fireworks display that Chris put on, and we just had a great time here, man. A lot of bourbon was drank that night, at least by me. I did the best I could.
Look, I just drank another coffee. Damn it. So whatever happened to the brisket, though? That's what I want to know.
It was a phenomenal Philly cheesesteak tonight.
Son of a gun. I should have drove over there. Damn it. Looks like Larry Dial, Patrick 7 jumped in the house. Will made it over there. And Denise made it. And EA1 ends up being EA last in the game.
As always, Corey's in the house. Hey, Corey, are you back home? Corey should be back home. Oh, and Melissa's baked beans are off the chain. And yes, we will bring the other part of the crock pot that was left here. We'll bring that with us when we head your way.
Yeah, that was a rough morning trying to remember everything. I don't know what happened. Russ, I went and got. I don't know if you can tell. I went and got a fresh hair did a couple days ago. And did I tell you about my barber and what a piece of work this guy is?
Well, you've told me bits and pieces, but what did he have to say this time? Because it's always something different.
Well, let me preface everything by saying this barbershop is all ex-military guys, and they don't pull any punches, man. They just let you have it. So I walk in, I sit down. Melissa's with me, so I got to act all cool. I can't let anybody, I can't look bad in front of my wife. So I walk in there, I sit down, and the owner of the place, I don't know, I think he's a Marine. I don't know what the hell he is. He looks at me and he goes, you want this chair or what? And he's pointing down at his chair. I go, well, and it's my fault, Russ, because I was trying to be a badass. I go, well, I guess I'll end my year with a shitty haircut. Yeah. And you know what he told me? He goes, get in a chair, you Joe Rogan wannabe.
Oh, that is classic. Joe Rogan wannabe. That is funny.
And from there, it was just a constant, downhill. Just bash me, yeah.
Well, if I don't get my hair cut while I'm over here, I'll have to go over there and I'll take one for the team over there. Maybe we'll video it and play it on Thursday or something. That'll be funny as hell.
And he had stuff to say about my goatee, too. He made some rude remarks. I can't, since we're over there on YouTube and Facebook right now, I can't even mention that right now. It's so bad. But Nick Beecher made it in.
Just because Gabe has more facial hair than you do.
That's true. I think he rubbed some dirt on his face when we saw him.
That's kind of what it looked like. I had to throw that one out there. Oh, and Will was in there enough to catch it. Awesome. I gave a little hard time about that.
I think you're right. I think I do have a fetish for all that stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, dude, you work commercial construction. You're a firefighter, EMT. Now, neither one of which will completely get you to the level of shit talking that happens in the military. It is close. Yeah. So that's what you're missing is that camaraderie type shit talking. So
I thought I got enough of that just by hanging out with you and Chris.
Well, and we do the best we can to live up and help you out there. So, but I don't want to hear it, and I'm not going to publicize what was said. But between you and him, y'all can both kiss my ass, and y'all know what I'm talking about. And we'll discuss that at a different time.
My rifle has problems every now and then too.
I will say that was funny as all get out. But
Russ, we tried to tell everybody last year. We said, look, shit's gonna go sideways between the beginning of the year and inauguration. And then all of a sudden on the news, everybody's surprised, right, Russ? Everybody's surprised.
Oh, the sky is
light
falling.
bulb just went off. Look, we don't just regurgitate stuff that we see on X. We sometimes know what we're talking about. Not all the time, but
Not all the time.
sometimes we know what we're talking about. So, but the good news is, Russ, the good news is with all the stuff that happened with the 2 terrorist attacks, the FBI is there. They're there to tell us exactly what's going on. And if you don't believe me, listen to the DEI hire that they stuck in front of the camera after the New Orleans attack.
All right, here we go.
Said we'll be taking over the investigative lead for this event. This is not a terrorist event. This is not a terrorist event. This is not a terrorist event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices that was found, and we are working on confirming if it's a viable device or not.
Russ, it's not a terrorist event.
But if I did it, or you did it,
that would be a terrorist event. Then.
Now, I'm sorry. It didn't matter whether or not it was domestic person that did it. It doesn't matter if it was an international person that did it. If you're using an improvised explosive device, it's terrorism. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it does.
YouTube, kick us off. I don't care. It's peace channel.
Listen, IEDs and not terrorism don't go together. Never should they. They should never go together. It just doesn't work. It's like it's like Adam and Adam, or it just doesn't. They space die. It doesn't work. So, but the FBI's got us covered, brother. They're on the case, and I don't know. But what do we know? What do we know about the New Orleans attack, Russ? Tell me a little bit about that.
Man, there's so much out there on it already. I mean, it's number one. I'll preface this: pretty sad when the news media gets to the families' houses and their relatives' houses before the cops do. But I think that's pretty sad. But what I've seen, this dude, what is he, a 42-year-old U.S.-born citizen from Texas, and he was in the Army. He was stationed at Bragg. He was human resources. He was a freaking paper weenie is what he was. A paper pusher. Rented a car from Turo.
Yeah.
And,
but Shamsa Din Jabbar was his name, I believe. So they took a couple of minutes for him to get that name out. And I think once they actually got the name out, you can no longer say this was not a terrorist event.
Yeah, well, and hold on here. Corey just posted this on. Let me find it over here on the chat. There we go. I'm going to pop it up on the screen. And I'm going to read this. The use of violence or the threat of violence, especially against citizens in the pursuit of political goals, the act of terrorizing or state of being terrorized, a mode of government by terror or intimidation, the practice of coercing governments to accede to political demands by committing violence on civilian targets, any similar use of violence to achieve goals.
The very definition of terrorism.
The very definition of terrorism.
Right. So and then as all that's going on, as they're saying that it's not a terrorist, not an act of terrorism, they're trying to hide the ISIS flag.
Yep. Trying to hide the ISIS
flag. Waving behind his truck. So.
Yeah. So and. Mm-hmm. Well, I was going to go into the. Now, I think that it was Louisiana State Police that ended up taking out the Al-Jabbar, D-Jabbar, or whatever his name is. Mm-hmm. But in the New Orleans PD, I wasn't impressed with. Now, riddle me this, Batman. Off the top of your head, without naming any sporting events, name me 2 really big events that go on in New Orleans.
Well, Mardi Gras.
Number 1. I'd say that's number 1.
I would say that. Without sporting events, you said?
Without sporting events.
That's all I know. Other than that, just going there to eat gumbo.
Well, and New Year's Eve. You know,
Makes
I've
sense. Yeah.
I've been down there on New Year's Eve, and Bourbon Street is packed.
hmm
They have put in 2017, I believe, after some of the embassies, like over in Paris or somewhere, were rammed. They put in steel barricades and bollards that, um, that pop up out of the ground, not these little flimsy metal ones. Pop
Right.
up out of the ground. They were not employed on New Year's Eve on one of the busiest days in New Orleans,
Well,
with
and
the Sugar Bowl supposedly being the next day against Notre Dame in Georgia. You got all those people from Georgia and everybody else being down there because we were down there. The Sugar Bowl was happening the next day, and it was literally shoulder to shoulder people on Bourbon Street. And they didn't employ these things. And the reason they said they didn't is because they were planning on getting them fixed just prior to the Super Bowl, which happens at the end of the month.
and it's another one of those soft target events, right?
Yeah.
Where and not only is it a soft target event, but Germany, the same thing happened to Germany just a few weeks ago. How did you not understand that there had at least had to be the potential of a copycat attack? It didn't take anything. It didn't, I mean, until the cops rushed the truck because he crashed it. He didn't. There was no shots fired. So
Right.
had he not wrecked that truck, he would have just kept driving, and
Yeah.
who knows?
And
But
we end up with 15 dead and over 30 people injured.
yeah,
And he drove around a police car to get onto Bourbon Street.
yeah. And here's the deal. And how is that not on the radar? I tell you why that's not on the radar, Russ. All that stuff's not on the radar because the damn FBI, in their inept organization that they are too busy going after J6 people. They're too busy going to school meetings to worry
Look at
about
parents.
moms. Yeah, worry about moms and dad complaining about the curriculum, and they're taking their eye off the ball. But remember, Joe Biden said the biggest threat to democracy, the biggest threat to the United States right now is white supremacy. Bafangul. That's what I say to.
Yeah, Bafangul Sugats. Yep.
Yeah, this
I'm right there
friggin'
with
guy.
you. But
But-
and then, right after, all this happened, and we're dealing with the aftermath of this. Then we have the thing that goes on in Vegas. And Boyd, let me tell you, the 10 hats are out in regards to how these two are together. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
I want to hear from people in chat too. There's a lot of things that aren't adding up. It just doesn't make sense. First of all, let's refresh everybody. The guy Matthew Livesberger is a 37-year-old active duty United States Army Green Beret from
EA.
Colorado Springs. Okay, so first of all, guys in the peanut gallery, because I'm stumped by this one. I knew there'd be domestic terrorism, and there's always a chance for international terrorism. There's always a chance for ISIS and stuff like that. Are these two linked? And tell me why you think they're linked. But something doesn't add up. This guy's Green Beret, and he doesn't know how to make a simple bomb. He doesn't know how to make a simple VBED. It doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. And I don't know. I mean, they're trying to tie the two of them together because they were both happened to be stationed at Fort Bragg at the same time. Now, 53,700 average active duty military on Bragg at any point in time. They have if you use there's a method, I can't remember the name of it, but you get basically a 0.28% chance of knowing each other.
Yeah, based on societal norms, right?
Societal norms, yeah, based on societal norms.
Yeah.
And I mean, the guys that were in the military, they're in the peanut gallery. How, by a show of hands or a thumbs up or whatever, how many times have you talked to somebody that's a civilian and you're like, yeah, I'm in the Air Force, and hey, my cousin Steve's in the Air Force. Do you know him? Or my cousin Steve's in the. Do you know him? No.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Corey, you're right, bud. There's just so much weird stuff going on, and now the family's coming out saying, I just don't get it. This guy's a big Trump supporter. It just doesn't make any sense. Of course, his wife allegedly is a screaming liberal who's ate up with TDS. So I'm going with the conclusion that his wife drove him to do that. Like most of us men, we can break down under the. Go ahead.
So, did she drive him to do it or drive him to do it?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
You opened that one up, so I got to ask that question because, I mean, they say it was 17 seconds from the time he parked to the time he exploded, and he ended up with a gunshot wound to his head.
Mm-hmm.
But the gun is melted, but the credit card was legible. His passport and driver license was still legible. Yeah. Inquiring minds want to know, man.
Yeah. And I've seen burnt up people where stuff in their back pockets was still like going. But you saw the picture of the guy's tattoos, right? On his arm. Those didn't seem to get burnt up too bad. And typically that's what you would normally see being burned the most.
Absolutely.
Especially if he offed himself and he's just laying there flaccid, right?
Exactly.
Well, I wanted to bring that up because somebody said today, we need to really now, the military's really now starting to be infiltrated. And like you had mentioned before, Will, it's not like they're just now starting to get infiltrated.
Exactly.
This ISIS ideology is just strewn throughout our military right now. That was just one example. We had stuff that happened, over there in the sandbox where there was a lot of friendly fire fragging going on. Then it was all because they ended up being converted while they were over there. Not to mention the 10,000 people that were on the watch list that Joe Biden allowed into this country. That's the ones we know about. That's the ones that were on the watch list.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
200,000 gotaways. Who knows who they are, right, Russ?
Oh, absolutely. And I've been kind of following this pretty close since I've been down here, and a lot of it doesn't pass the sniff test. But if they, I saw somebody posted it on X that there was some phone records that they had talked to each other. Okay. Until I hear that from a better, reliable source, I'm going to not take that word for it. But you look at the aftermath of New Orleans, 15 dead, 30 injured. This one, you got 1 dead, 7 injured. Not a lot of collateral damage. It didn't even break the glass in the hotel.
Right.
And for me, it makes me think that they're not related, even though they are a lot of people trying to put strings together, like they both rented them through Temu or Turo or what the hell ever.
I don't. There are some similarities. There are certain things that happen, but if I wanted to rent a car fairly anonymously, I would use the Turo app. That's just one of those things. So it looks like Will gifted a subscription to Nick Meacher. Thank you for that, Will. You didn't have to do that. But there are a lot of looks, and I'm one of those guys. There are no coincidences. I've said it a million times.
Yep.
And I think the coincidence. I think they were both targets of opportunity. But here's this is where my tin foil starts to get wrapped a little bit tighter. ISIS is all about making a statement. With everything they do, they're all about making a statement. So what better statement than them to say, we got 2 of your military people to conduct an operation on U.S. soil? Yep. What kind of statement would that make? It's
Yeah.
So it's not out of the realm of possibility, but I'm not quite there. I'm not quite there saying they're connected yet. There's
Yeah,
just
I'm not either.
too much
Um,
head scratching on my end.
but you know, not just folks like us. There's been a lot of people, a lot of talking heads that have said, "Hey, this stuff is going to be happening," and it has. They showed our playbook. I mean, Intifada, with the pro-Palestinian protests calling for Intifada, uh, all that stuff is the same.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. And listen, I'm with you, Chris. I just doesn't it doesn't pass the sniff test for me. I think he would have done better. I think, and then I was reading. Then I was really going down the rabbit hole. And you remember that email list of all those special forces operators that leaked out, right? That one
Yep,
special forces operator had to take matters into his own hand because they came after him. What if it's one of those cases?
could be.
What if they popped them and then set off the bomb to make it look like he did it? I don't know. I'm just throwing out what I'm reading on social media, which I know I shouldn't read that stuff, but it's out there, and unfortunately, there's a lot of people that do believe that. But
Hmm.
listen, and like I said before, Russ, all that conspiracy theory stuff takes our eye off the ball. First of all, it takes our eye off the corrupt ass government that we have right now. But more
Yeah,
importantly, it takes our eye off how dangerous and capable the psychotic left is.
exactly.
They're
And
just as dangerous right now on U.S. soil, if not more dangerous than ISIL ever will be. So let's not run too far down the rabbit hole. Know that our enemy's out there, prepare for it, and then nothing's ever a surprise to you, right? What does this say here? I'm reading.
okay,
There's an announcement made tonight that he has a manifesto. Good. Well, maybe that'll clear some things up.
he's sending us the announcement on that. I'll be curious to hear that.
Absolutely. So
But yeah, I
that's all.
mean,
That's all I have on the terrorist stuff, guys. There's not really. Nobody knows enough. The FBI is not going to tell us what's going on. They're quick
yeah,
to say. They were so quick to say they're U.S. born citizens. They're U.S. born citizens.
yeah, and so quick to identify them as military, but it wasn't terrorism.
No, definitely,
Not
definitely
initially.
wasn't terror.
No, but and no sooner than all of this happened, then you got the pro-Palestinian marching in freaking New York, calling for Intifada.
I got a video of that. Let's run that.
Yeah,
Yep, I got it right here.
where's it?
I got it.
Cool.
Resolution! Intifada revolution! New Year's resolution! Intifada revolution!
So why is it happening?
Just insane.
Because we're allowing shit like that to go on our public streets in our big cities. We're allowing that. If that was a group of white supremacists doing that, if that was a group of PBs, I'll just give the acronym, the white guys that are in the militia, they would have cracked down on them so hard, and the left would send their goons after them to try to instigate a fight. Our government
Absolutely.
is not. These people are admitting that they are terrorists. Now, I get the whole freedom of speech thing, but you can't yell fire in a theater either.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You
Exactly.
can't do that. So I'm 100% like our buddy said yesterday, and I really like a conservative libertarian for the most part, right?
Yeah.
A constitutional libertarian or a conservative libertarian. I believe in a constitution, but I want the government to leave us the hell alone. I want them to do their
Yeah.
job, which is to keep us safe,
Yeah.
right? And they're,
You know,
they're
and
dropping the. They're allowing these people. They're emboldening by every day they allow one of these get-togethers under the guise of freedom of speech. They're emboldening people to act against the country, and that's just
well,
BS.
and you're talking about The government is supposed to protect us as citizens. Yet, look at what's happening in New York. In New York, people are getting killed on the subway, getting thrown in front of a freaking subway train. But I read something today. He is expected to live, and the guy, because of the way their statutes work, is only the maximum he could be charged at is second-degree attempted manslaughter.
Yeah. And that's how is that not a hate crime so far? How is that
I
not a
know.
hate crime?
Exactly.
I watched another video where looked like an older white lady bumped into some African Americans in New York, and they immediately labeled that pedestrians. They immediately labeled that a hate crime. So, not the place for that kind of question. I'll talk to you off based on that. Let's see, Patrick 7. Patrick's always got some good stuff to say. Yeah, I did read this.
Yep, I saw that right before we got on. They're saying the guy's about 5'7".
Yeah, still no arrest. They hemmed up every J6 person, but they can't find this guy. Give me a break. I agree, bullshit. I really do. There are consequences to your actions, and unfortunately, I think we're going to have to be the ones to administer those consequences because our government's not going to do it. In a non-violent way, of course. Don't get me wrong. Russ, what you had news about the T-shirts. That's your gig.
I did. All right, guys,
You roll that. I'm pouring a drink.
Okay, go pour a drink.
You're up, big boy.
All right, so for those of you that don't know, we do have them now available in a women's V-neck if you desire, and we're not going to shame you. And same price as the men's shirts. Again, email me at russellsawyer@myyahoo.com to pre-order and also to let us know if you're going to be able to make it to the event so we get a good head count in regards to food, that sort of thing. For those of you that have ordered, I promise on Monday or Sunday I will sit down and send an email out to you letting you know how and where to send the money. So yes, Larry, I will get with you Sunday or Monday, and we'll go from there. So remember, guys, the event is 21 to 23 February 2025, and we're looking forward to a good turnout. Chris and Mel will be there. Pete and Melissa, me and the missus to sit over here. All the standard hooligans of the Eden Army will be there, but the more the merrier, right, Pete?
Absolutely. Just tell us you're coming so we can get enough portalets. Good night, Chris. Thanks for stopping in. Oh, goodness gracious. All right. Well, the world is a better place right now.
Okay, you have some bourbon. There you go. Sláinte, my brother.
I do have a video. Look, I know everyone's probably saw it already, but let's roll that video of that Tesla so everyone knows what we're talking about if we have not. They have not.
Alrighty, here we go.
Copy.
Yeah, amateur hour. Special Forces amateur hour. Won't be the last time I've seen it, I reckon, but dates for the Ruck March. That's the last
31
Friday.
January 31 January to 2 February.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. So, come on, let's talk and kick. Do you guys think that those two are connected? What's your opinion? There you go. Good. Yeah, that's what That's what Russ was saying. That's what Russ was saying too earlier.
And I read something. Somebody asked Grok, which is the AI program for X, that very same question: if a person shot a gun off inside of a Tesla, would you hear it? and Tesla sounding very lawyerish. Well, possibly. They brought in about environmental factors and the caliber of the weapon. If it was a pistol or something like that, you may only hear it a couple 100 yards away. But if it was a high power rifle, you may hear it up to a mile away, based on the construction of the Tesla. But they've had no real data because they haven't tested it. But if the Deagle or the Desert Eagle was found in the vehicle is what caused the gunshot, the dude standing on the corner, right on the curb, right outside it, would have heard something.
Mm-hmm. But
That's
here's what I don't understand is he had multiple weapons in the truck with him. If your intent is to just go there, put one in your dome, set off a bomb, why multiple weapons? Why multiple platforms? In case he got stopped, he was gonna shoot it out. It just doesn't pass the smell. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, so Will thinks they're connected,
Yeah.
and my lovely bride and Patrick Seven are in agreement that if they are connected, it's not in the ways that they're saying, because as far as conspiracies go, sometimes things are just weird. But
yeah, it's true.
I mean, again, there's no such thing as coincidence, but I don't know.
Well,
More to follow, I guess.
Well, Elon Musk sent a team there to gather all the video, the front-facing video of the driver. So that should pretty much clarify anything that's going on. There should be no questions asked.
And I think if that video is available and it is not made public in a timely manner, I think Elon will release it. Unless he's asked not to. Unless he's asked not to by Trump or whoever. But, when I first saw it, I was like everybody else. That looks like the battery. That's what I thought initially. But, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it definitely was the mortars in the back. I mean, I've been on a few electric car fires, and typically, and initially I was like, no way, it's not the battery. But then I got to thinking, they were underneath the canopy, and there was a fire suppression camera going. And if the fire suppression cameras hit the battery, I get it. But I just don't think it's possible. I think there is definitely some amateur explosives in the back, and I don't think he really thought it out, or something more sinister was going on. I don't know. I don't know the answer to this one. But either way, I'm not surprised if it's a leftist. I told you so. If it's affiliated in any way with any type of international terrorism, guess what? We told you so.
We told you so.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who the bad guy is. The MO is going to be the same. All right, they're going to try to kill innocent people because most of them are cowards. So there you go. Yeah, the batteries are all in the belly. And all those mortars were. You can tell they were coming up. So the reason they were hitting the ground, Russ, is because they were coming up. They were hitting the canopy, and then they were blasting back down like that because they had that overhang back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of video out there that you probably shouldn't watch.
Yep, absolutely. And I just asked everybody in chat how your video and audio is, because it's probably on my end. You're digitalizing a little bit on my end, but it's probably on my end.
Yeah. Two things. Can you hear? First of all, can you hear on the other end? Can you hear my soundboard? Did you hear the soundboard over there?
No, nobody heard a soundboard over here.
I don't know why that's not working. Dang it. Damn Chinese soundboards. I've been hitting good stuff all podcast too.
I know, right?
Okay. All right, so you're pixelating a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, I know I
I'll
am.
troubleshoot that. Another weird coincidence. There we go.
Yeah, Patrick, we talked about that a little earlier, and they're waiting to fix them and replace them prior to the Super Bowl, which is the end of the month. Makes no sense. I mean, if it's one of your largest,
put two cop cars nose to nose there.
well, and he drove around one.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Just put them.
Yeah, I did
block
put
the
two.
whole damn street. Then it doesn't make any sense.
Two
So,
is one is none. Damn it!
guys, this is. And it's funny because when I was in Vegas, Russ, doing that little conference I was at, Melissa was wanting to go walk. She wanted to go to Trump building so damn bad. And I go, you don't need to walk around. You don't need to be there. Why put yourself in that position just to say you were there? And sure enough, a couple weeks later, this knucklehead sends off some fireworks. So,
yeah, absolutely. So we haven't had a podcast since before Christmas. What'd you get for Christmas, Pete?
I got one good. We don't exchange gifts. The adults here, except for the white elephant we do at Christmas Eve. We had about 21, 22 people here on Christmas Eve, which was a blast.
Very nice.
Javi
I
and
was
Lily
quite jealous. Wish we could have been there.
Yeah, food was pretty good. Hey, what's going on, Egghead? But I did get, which I was really wanting, but I would never buy it for myself, is one of those weighted blankets.
Oh.
Yeah, so I got a 15-pound weighted blanket, and I got to tell you what, I dig it, man.
Yeah?
I dig it, yeah. It definitely worth it. I don't know, I don't know what they cost or anything, but definitely worth it. Hey, Gopi, what's going on, brother?
Ooh, fresh boiled blue crabs and shrimp.
We just talked about that at Chris's house.
We did. We got a hookup for that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really looking forward to that. But we got our trip down here. That was our trip down here as our Christmas present to each other, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're glad to have you down there. Can't wait till you park the RV in there and get ready for what's to come.
Yes.
So yeah, we'll do the Ruck March, and then we'll do the Back to Eden get together, and we'll see what happens. I was gonna try to sneak away for a long weekend to go up to Hobbies, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to.
Yeah, it depends on what's going on between now and then. Now and the 1st of February.
Yeah. Guys, I got to tell you also that FIB preparedness. Look, I don't buy much for myself, but I did get that thermal for my little toy, my Pew Pew, and I got to tell you, that thermal is a game changer. Yes, and he has all kinds of stuff like that. So do we have that? Let me look here. Do we have that? Is he still doing that 8% off? There it is. I got it.
Yeah, I think we are. We'll find out. If it says eNormy, he'll give it to us. You know that.
Yeah, so just use that code on checkout. Yeah, use that code on checkout. You won't even have to worry about it. And he'll hook you up.
Bullshit. She obviously wants to go to Buc-ee's. That's what I'm calling. I'm calling she wants to go on a Buc-ee's run. Tell me I'm wrong. But then again, Corey's wife does the same thing to him. So she wants to go to Buc-ee's, so they drive down to, but then they come visit us, so that's awful nice. Oh, I was right. Hold
on, I get it for you, Denise. Hang tight.
Ismail, the code was Eden Army.
There you go. All one word, all uppercase. And you can go right there to fibpreparedness.com. Guys, I want you to, between now and the next podcast, I want you to get something prepper-wise. I don't care if it's foods. I don't care if it's 1 can of corned beef hash. Get something this week because we're gonna audit you next week. So I want your New Year's resolution to be, I'm going to impose it on you, is every week, I don't care how simple it is, if it's 1 can of food, get it, store it somewhere, And by the end of
Good
too
idea.
long, you're going to have a whole shitload of food or a whole shitload of freedom seeds or a whole shitload of whatever. Do one thing a week in between podcasts, please. I beg you.
Yeah,
Got it.
Corey, the one over our way is way too peoply, but you have to remember you have I-95 going north south, and just 2 exits down from there is I-20, where I-20 comes in. I mean, it's a good location if you're the Buckies, but the owners,
Mhm.
but not so much if you're a customer.
Exactly. Good job, Koala, getting that stuff. But one thing a week, I don't care what it is. So this New Year's, my resolution is to bring. I was gonna go try to do 3 or 4 guests a month, Russ. But you know how weird I get with guests, so you talked me into doing 2 a month,
2
and
a
I
month?
think that's a good compromise.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it
But
will be. It'll give good. We'll get good content. We'll still be able to have our little free for alls every other week, and at the end of the content, I'm trying to impose that on the other podcasts that I am working with as well. So there will be plenty of guests throughout the year, and we will still have good content with just the guys. And I think it'll work really well. Next, I'm going to make a shameless plug for the first Angry American podcast of the year. Next Wednesday, we will have everybody in the house. Sue, Emery, Donnie, T, and Chris. All 5 of them will be there. So it's going to be a pretty good show.
yeah, Corey, I looked at the antenna that I thought was destroyed. I don't believe it is. And I have, on your recommendation, one of the mounts for my dish, my old DirecTV dish. So I'm going to put that up, and I'll have all that in place by the time you get here. But that's only 2 meter and 70 centimeter. Don't forget. That podcast is not on Kick. That's through the normal channels. That'll be on your YouTubes and stuff like that, Denise.
Yep. Yeah, Denise, that'll be on Angry American on Facebook, Angry American on YouTube, Rumble, Instagram, and X. So if you're friends with me, you'll see it. So
nice, Skidmore. Nice.
Well, I guess I can, since I did order it today. I guess that's my prep for the month or the year if I ask my wife, considering I just spent the money.
Did you tell her you were spending it, or you just spent it?
I just spent it.
Attaboy.
So I am joining the 300 club.
And I got to thank you, Russ, for getting that thing squared away for me. I was breaking my head apart.
Sometimes it's the simplest things.
It's true. I was getting ready to buy a whole new one. It was, but now I feel better. So I'm going to run that through its paces this weekend and see what we can do. Concealed carry class next Friday. Outstanding. That's a good prep.
Oh,
that's a good prep for you.
That's a very good prep.
Goodwill. I like that. Will said he's going to grab some freedom seeds for his.
Yeah.
His was dialed in good too. Good.
And then I will probably end up getting with Corey sometime this week to get those Baofengs programmed in. Either that or I'll just wait till I get over to your place.
Yeah, we can just chirp them up. And then
something we haven't talked about for a minute. How many of you out there have taken Pete up on his offer of writing your portion of the Eden event? I only know of one.
No, there's a couple, but they mention it and then they kind of, you don't hear it too much.
Well, I've only heard of one that's actually done any actual writing.
No, there's a couple out there. I haven't seen any other writing, but there's a couple that said they have started. So, Egghead says he's getting grabbing some parts and pieces. So yeah, just once a week. Look, next week in our check-in, I want you guys, the first thing right off the gate, tell me what you bought this week for prep. Don't worry about what you got for Christmas. I don't care if it's a can of pork and beans or Spam. So Patrick's in it, Matt's in it,
You know, that's
Will's
what
in it.
Yeah, that's what I want us to do, Pete. I have a recipe somewhere for homemade Spam.
I don't want to know what's in it, Russ. I don't
No,
want to know.
it's good, legit stuff that's in it.
Okay.
That's literally good, legit stuff. Maybe we will try and make that while we're over at your place.
Yeah, sure. I'm up. And we also, while you're up here, we need to get that damn rock pot that Christy won.
And
we need
actually,
to
you put it
come
through
in
its
and test
paces
that
since
thing.
she has
Yeah.
it. Yeah, since
Yes,
she has
exactly.
it. Yeah, absolutely.
That counts for this week. So next week, you better buy a can of Spam or some Beanie Weenies or something.
Only $999.
Nice. Yeah, look,
Oh,
I'll admit, sometimes I admit when I'm wrong. Not often. But I have been so against putting an optic on my my pistol, Russ. So against it. But after this weekend, I feel like it's time. I haven't told my wife this yet. I just need to go ahead and make it happen.
Yep. I mean, you got to make the first part of that happen. I'll make the second part of that happen, and
Exactly.
and then we'll take care of that.
Hello, love child, 10-watt radio, plus an awesome gift. Let me pop this up while I'm just reading it loud so someone can see it.
Anyone looking for a good radio, check out the new AR5R. It's like the UV5R and the AR152 Baofeng had a love child. It's a small black 10-watt radio and has all the AR152 features, plus an awesome UHF scan function and a few other things. So that UH52, that's that green one that's about, 6-8 inches, maybe 9 inches long? Looks like a brick.
Yes, I think that's the one he's talking about. Somebody was taking pictures, apparently.
Opie, Pete was feeling nothing New Year's Eve. He was feeling nothing.
Just because I didn't eat enough. I needed to eat more.
I mean, you tore into those ribs.
Yeah, Mama says she's canning this weekend. What are you canning, Mama? I love when she cans. I get a little teary-eyed when she cans.
Oh, yeah.
Knowing that she's bought into the whole thing. Yeah.
Hey, Steve, show up when you can, brother. Show up when you can. Big T in the house.
Oh, just get here when you can, man. That's it. You missed the whole show, T. We talked about the terrorist attack. We talked about our interesting night at New Year's Eve. She's making soup. Mama's canning soup. I like it.
Nice.
Hey, you could probably can that soup that you made tonight, Mom. That was pretty good. Oh, I'll probably get yelled at for calling my wife Mama or Mom, like they yelled at me for calling baby girl.
Calling baby girl. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, that's how we roll, guys. Get over it.
Exactly.
I'm looking through our notes to see what we missed.
Yeah, Larry, if you haven't gotten one yet, when you come to Fallout, I'll let you play with the optic, my Glock that has optic on it. Let you try it. It's an acquired taste, but it actually is pretty satisfying once you get it set up.
You'll drive nails with them. Denise, yeah. I'm not. Will sent me a whole bunch of stuff about this damn fog. No. Yes, we heard about it. There's enough to worry about, the mysterious fog. Look.
Well, and, I saw something in chat, with all this stuff going on. And then I also saw where Biden's going to sign something or has just signed something that is going to permanently ban offshore drilling. They're trying everything they can to stick it to us prior to January 20th.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's just to spite our country. It doesn't make any sense. That's awesome, Egghead. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Let me see what Koala says here. Mama might like that.
Oh, that's funny, Patrick.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So, Patrick, where's it at? I gotta find it. There it is. There it is. That's funny.
I just watched a short of somebody doing that. You see T's comment? I'm not gonna put it up on the screen, but it's fucking awesome and probably very true. Third one from the top, from the bottom. He said that fog was probably from New Year's Eve night where we were at.
Possibly, very possibly. I know that had something to do with the chocolate covered strawberries.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah. We couldn't find any biohazard stickers, T.
It's true, Egghead. And hopefully I don't think Trump's going to give any Fs by the time he gets in there. So I agree with that. So what else do we got? Let's do this real quick. We have to show this. Guys, don't forget Mountain Readiness May 2nd through the 4th, and then we're going to do our class the 5th and the 6th. Get there. There's a whole bunch of cool classes.
And if they didn't buy them by the 1st, they got to pay full price now, right, T?
Yeah, so get there if you can. And remember, I told you about those QR codes? Bam, blast it. So on the replay, you know it's coming. Make it happen. So there you go.
Let's see here. And the most current one coming up, and it ought to be a pretty interesting one, is the one in January. I want to pop this one up real quick. Alan Kay will be doing a survival class up there at Van Hoy Campground the 17th through the 19th. He is currently out of pocket, is what I'll say, but he should have some really good stories. He always has good stories. Mm-hmm. This is a class you don't want to miss if you can get up there, guys.
That's a different dude when you hang out with him. He is,
and he's
odd
awesome
character. I like him, but he's just an odd character.
So, we mentioned we're going to have guests. Who's our first guest for the year?
Oh, I can't wait. Our first guest for the year is going to be Brian Duff from Mind for Survival. You guys remember him. He was on once before. I was on his podcast. Well, we're not going to tell you why he's on because you have to tune in, but he's got something really cool going on, and we're going to promote the heck out of that because I like that dude.
Absolutely.
And plus that voice of his, I don't know. It's just,
like he'll say when he gets on here, he's got the voice for radio.
Exactly. And then we're going to follow up with another guest in the post-apocalyptic genre. We're not going to say who it is yet.
No, because this is all a new person for the year.
We're bringing her in from the outside. Somebody I met and talked to. I've seen her on the internet, and we've talked on the internet, but I finally got to meet her in person at that Nevada conference, that authors conference. And she was like my saving grace, Russ, because there were so many people. And, I'm like a moth. I try to stay away and my wife's like, you need to go talk to people. I'm like, I don't like people. I don't want to talk to people. I want to just stay back here and just listen to everybody and watch the buffoonery. But I was able to do that with her and still stay out of the limelight there. So that was kind of nice. So
absolutely. It's going to be a good time up there, Mountain Readiness. It always is. The podcasts for the year are going to be great. We're going to try to continue to give you guys good content. So, if
you mean we're going to start giving them good content?
Well, no. I will give you the platitudes that you deserve, brother. You did a great job this past year, and we're only going to go up from there. If you guys know of someone that you might like to have on the podcast, shoot me and Pete an email or a text. Let us know who you think, and we'll discuss it. And if we feel it might be a good fit, then we'll do it.
Yep.
I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah, absolutely. So the new year was the very first year of Eden Army Productions, LLC, actually putting money in the bank and doing that. So what's that all about? Well, there's some stuff I can't tell you about right now, Russ. Sorry, it's still going on. But for those of you that are fiction-minded or non-fiction-minded, and you had that idea that you want to put a book out, you got a prepper book you want to put out. I don't care if it's fiction or non-fiction. Let us produce it for you. Give us the manuscript. Let us edit it. Let us get your cover made, and let us put it on Audible if that's what it takes. And let's build our tribe. Look, there's no other tribe that's doing this, right, Russ? There's no other I don't know of any other author or any other group of authors that's going to say, listen, all you guys, you read our stuff. How about writing one? And we're going to help you do it. I don't know. Give it a shot. See what happens.
Yeah, we'll see.
Look, if I can write a book, there's a whole bunch of people smarter than me that can write books. So that's let's do it. Let's build it. Let's make it happen. Okay. I agree with you there. As a matter
100%.
I mentioned something to him the other day. I think he's a little camera shy. I'm not sure. That's the vibe I got, Russ. He might be a little camera shy. But
we'll work on it.
We'll work on it. It took me a year to get over it. I'm not like T. He's a friggin' natural.
Man, T can talk to a stump. And him and Chris both have that gift of gab. They can talk to a stump. They'll talk about anything, however many people, they don't care. Not this guy. And
me either.
Not that guy.
I haven't done enough in my life to be able to talk that much. I'm just a recluse for the most part. So, but Russ, what do you got? I'm going to leave it with you, brother.
Well, provided I don't digitize out, guys, stay prepared, get some training, work on your community. And just remember, guys, live every day as if it's your last, because tomorrow is never promised, as we all know. Live for the dash. That's all I have to say, Pete. Have a good night.
Sounds good. Look, I appreciate it. Guys, this week has taught us that we need to keep our heads on a swivel. We can't get lax. We need to be out there. Look, if push comes to shove, just don't go out there. All right? Live your life. Don't be afraid of it. But have your head on a swivel. And look, I like Trump. Nice guy. But he's not our savior. Okay? It's up to us to be our own saviors other than the man upstairs. But don't think everything's going to be all right. It's going to be bumpy times ahead of us. So get trained, all right? Be safe out there. Look, if you can't be safe, be dangerous. Thanks for watching the Eden Army Podcast. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And remember, be safe. If you can't be safe, be dangerous.